Well, that might be some good news then, as they obviously are hopefully closer than ever to getting her out. She has been there since at least 3:45 this morning. That's when the first 911 call came in, reporting the woman trapped there, stuck in between two buildings. We know how cold it has been overnight, and so they were able to get to her blankets and heaters as they cut through. But you imagine how frightened she's been. Grateful she's been alert and able to communicate with those crews as they work to get to her. So now, as we see the encouraging signs of her arm moving and her hand reaching through, grabbing around the other side of that block wall there that they've cut through, again, spraying the lubricant, Carl, that we were talking about. And sure enough, he confirmed that's what they've been using in that space.
And how about the high-pressured airbags he talked about that they say are strong enough to actually move one of those walls just enough to create more of a gap? I mean, we know all the equipment these guys have. We've seen those airbags before, but to use them like this, again, I don't know. He says we train for this stuff all the time. We know they do, but these specific situations are so different, and hopefully they can get those bags pumped up with air, and just, you know, move an inch or two would be enough to get her out.
Again, we don't know the extent of her injuries or if she has, you know, broken leg or anything else, but it's encouraging to me to see her left arm moving the way that it is. That is the good news. Rhonda's telling us it's 35 degrees downtown right now, but again, in between that concrete, it's going to be even colder, probably around 33 degrees. So she has, the temperature is certainly not helping her out there, keep her warm. As he said, her limbs are probably numb at some point through all this. And as the officer described, their earthquake training that would help free people from the rubble has prepared them to get people out of this situation.
She moved a bit. You see the paramedic in the blue, who, you know, it's just a joy to watch him work, because you can see his facial expressions as he's talking to her. He's got to keep her calm. He's got to keep her in a situation where she can help him. At the same time, he's got to be thinking about the physics involved here and taking advice from the other firefighters. And again, you can tell on his face and the other faces how badly they want to finish this job here and get her out.
And I do see her face now, Carl and Natalie. I've moved as close to the other side of the garage here as I can while still being behind the line they've asked us to stand behind. And I can see her face now. She's sort of ducked her face to the opening. She can kind of tilt her body that way. So I saw a couple of glimpses of her face, and she's just doing a lot of grimacing as she's using all her body weight. You can see her pushing her arms against the wall. She's trying to squeeze her way out from there. It's just really amazing to see.
It looks like she is wiggling around quite a bit, Val. Is that what you're seeing? She's just trying to free herself, nudge herself out of that?
Yes, she's got her hands against the wall, and she's pushing as she tries to move her body out to the opening.
And what are they pulling on her? Are they pushing using those airbags? What do you see this man doing?
Yeah, they're pulling on her as she is pushing. Now you can see her head, her neck. Hopefully you can see from where Brian is. And I saw them squirting the bottle of the lubricant on her as well.
So Valerie on the telephone, her audio signal is just a few seconds ahead of our video signal. So we're going to hear from Valerie before we actually see her get out of that crawl space. It's not a crawl space, it's just a space. But as Val mentioned, we can now see her entire left arm. We've seen her head and her face. There she has glasses on. She does still have on a white shirt. We know it looks as though they have cut off that red plaid shirt. And as Val mentioned, you can see how hard she's now working to try to help those firefighters get her that extra space to get out.
And you see how much she's been able to, I mean, they made this opening so close to her, and just how many inches, how long it's taking her to move inch by inch to get out of this area, again, using those airbags to spread the walls just enough, you know, just a couple inches here or there to allow her to help slide herself out. You can see her face just grimacing, trying to get herself out of that area.
Well, you know what she's done here. There is an ambulance there waiting to take her to get checked in the hospital if she needs that. Of course, there are just a multitude of paramedics there that will be able to give her the medical care that she needs, if she needs any. You know, we so would love to talk to her afterwards to find out, A, how this happened, how she felt while it went on, and you know the appreciation she is going to have for these firefighters and paramedics who have been there for a couple of hours doing their job to get her out of a space she was not going to get out of alone, for sure.
They're working so hard, and already we're getting reaction from our viewers. Greg just sent in a post on our Facebook page saying, "Thank you, Portland Fire Department. You guys are amazing," as we're watching them do their job. Indeed, you guys are. Oh, she's so close.
Oh, she just yelled. She said, "Oh my God," as they pulled her out.
Yeah, you're going to see that in a second. Here she comes.
Ah.
Way to go, guys.
Valerie, how much more is she moving? What do you see?
She went right onto the stretcher. They put her right on her back, and they're covering her with blankets. But you saw that look on her face, guys. She put her fists in the air and shook them, and she's just so happy, and as are all of us, finally, to see her free. Some clapping from the firefighters. It was brief, but there was definitely a little cheer, and now we make sure she's okay. Her husband hugging her right now. She is squeezing him real tight.
Well, we are all just so thrilled. There we see this hug now, as you just described. We're able to see her husband walk over in big hugs. What a terrifying 3-hour ordeal these two have been through. We will learn more about how she ended up in that situation, and we're so glad to see her moving her arms and hugging her husband. She's breathing. She has had a terrifying few hours, and we're glad. And Val, we can't wait for you to be able to talk to some of these rescuers, what they just went through in these last several hours to make this happen.
I'm really looking forward to it. Just some very, very accomplished men and women. We're very proud.
3 hours and 45 minutes she has been stuck between those two walls, between two buildings at 12th and Columbia, and dozens of firefighters doing their best, and you can see they got her out, and you know she's going to need that medical checkup, but she's out and safe, and relief for everybody, and joy down there as well. Job well done.
Joy here in the studio as well.